If a fringe piece has ever come apart on you and it wasn't from wear and tear, it probably wasn't the beads. It was how the fringe was built. Hi, welcome back to Bead Design. I'm Paula from On a String. Today we're going deeper into fringe. This time it's not about what the fringe looks like, it's about how it's actually built and how that construction choice changes everything about the piece and how it behaves when it's being worn and when it's finished. Let's start with stitched fringe. This is where little individual beads are built into stacks that stand upright and are worked directly into the surface through repeated thread passes, not hanging off a single point, but locked in on every pass as you build it. It's usually worked on a bead embroidered base, and because the thread ties each stack multiple times, it tends to hold its shape and sit shorter than fringe that hangs free. Take the lid on our keepsake collection boxes. Like the heart box here. That raised texture across the surface is stacked fringe, short columns of beads standing straight up, built directly into the bead embroidery. That's what gives the lid its dimensional, textural feel instead of a flat surface, and it's completely different construction to anything that hangs in a fringe format. Now compare that to strung fringe. This is single beads strung onto thread in strands and then attached at an anchor point on the base. It could be a peyote tube like this one here, or it could be a bead embroidered edge. Because each strand hangs from one anchor point rather than being tied through repeated stitching, it swings and drapes far more freely. Take my Taj Mahal earrings. The fringe there is strung and then it's rolled into a tight coil off a peyote tube. Rolling it tight is a styling choice, but underneath it is still strung strands hanging from anchor points, not stitched into the structure. My Crown of Seasons pendant and Penny Lane pendant have got this open drapey fringe off a bead embroidered edge. The same construction as the earrings, but styled in a completely different way. Rolled tight or left loose, the same method is applied. The trade-off with a strung fringe is where the stress sits. In stitched fringe, the tension is spread across every thread pass. In strung fringe, it's concentrated at that anchor point, so that needs to be reinforced, or that's exactly where your piece will fail first. So, side by side, stitch fringed gives you texture, gives you structure and durability, and the thread goes through those bead embroidery bases several times, but it means that it's shorter and it takes longer to build. Strung fringe gives you length, movement and a freer drape, but all the stress sits at one anchor point instead of being spread across the piece. Neither one is better, they're both suited to different jobs. Neither one is better, they're both suited to different jobs. So how do you choose? If you want raised texture and dimension, something that adds surface interest without adding length, stitch it. If you want length and genuine movement and you're happy to reinforce that anchor point properly, then string it. And honestly, the best pieces often use both. Ones like my Penny Lane pendant has both of those. Stacked stitches for texture close to the base and strung strands built wherever I want movement and length. If you want the full breakdown, how to plan out which method suits your next project, grab the free printable guide, Fringe Variations, and the link is below. And if you want to go even deeper on design decisions like this one, that's exactly what's inside the Design Eye membership. Links for that are below as well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I'm Paula from On a String.